Hello everyone, welcome to the next video of Brian's Stories. Today we will listen to the next meaningful story, telling about one of the recent public outrages. Please listen. New York, March 20th, 2025. The sky was gray, but the streets were as busy as ever. Donald Trump sat in his miniature Oval Office at Trump Tower, looking down at the people passing by. He had just signed an executive order that would change America forever, an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. The sound of the signature still echoed in his head, a final blow to a system that he believed had failed to empower people to truly educate themselves. He stood up, walked to the window, and watched the traffic below. In the flickering neon lights, Trump pondered, will they understand this? Or will they fight it like they always do? The phone rang. An advisor called to report that the executive order had caused a huge stir. The media was reporting non-stop, some supportive, others fiercely condemning. The hashtag #SaveEducation is trending on social media, with millions of comments criticizing his decision. Trump smiles faintly, takes a sip of coffee, then puts on his coat and leaves the tower. He knows it will be a long day. On the way to a press conference, Trump's motorcade suddenly stops due to a protest near Central Park. Shouts ring out. "Education is a fundamental right. We are not guinea pigs for your experiments." Hundreds of placards are held up with protest messages. Some are wearing T-shirts that say, "We need schools." The atmosphere is tense. Trump looks out the car window, stays silent for a few seconds, then signals for his bodyguards to open the door. He steps out of the car and slowly walks toward the crowd. The protesters are surprised to see him in their midst. They expect an explanation, a defense, or maybe a heated debate. In the crowd, a boy of about 16 with thick glasses and an old backpack was holding a sign. "Education is not something that can be eliminated." Trump walked up, squinted at the boy, and asked, "What do you think of my order?" The boy did not flinch, his eyes flashing with determination mixed with anger. "I think you are taking away opportunities from millions of students. Not everyone has the means to go to private schools or homeschool. Without federal control, education is a mess." Trump laughed, a laugh that was both curious and amused. "What's your name?" "Alex." "Okay, Alex, do you want to know why I did it?" Alex folded his arms, waiting. And so began a conversation that lasted the rest of the day, between a famous president and a curious student. Trump and Alex walked along Central Park. The protesters gradually parted, watching curiously. Trump pondered for a moment and then said, "The federal education system is a giant bureaucratic machine, spending billions of dollars a year but not really improving the quality of education. You know, America didn't have a Department of Education until 1979, and before that we were still producing brilliant minds. I'm not abolishing education. I'm just giving the power back to the states, to the communities." Alex frowned. "But doesn't the disparity between rich and poor grow when education is decentralized? Poor states don't have enough budget to maintain good schools." Trump smiled. "That's the thinking of people who believe in government protection. I believe in the free market. As private schools and flexible education models grow, they create competition, forcing school systems to innovate if they want to survive. Do you know why I'm successful, Alex?" The boy shook his head. "Because I don't wait for someone to give me opportunities. I create opportunities." That silenced Alex. He had never thought of it that way. They continued walking through the streets, where the protests were getting more intense. Some people were chanting anti-Trump slogans, but he remained calm. They hated him, but he continued walking among them. "Aren't you afraid?" Alex asked. "If you're afraid of being hated, you'll never do anything great. Remember that." Alex looked at the man in front of him. He might be a controversial figure, but there was no denying that he had incredible confidence. "So do you think you'll be remembered as a hero?" Trump laughed. "It doesn't matter. What matters is that I did what I believed was right." Before leaving, he patted Alex on the shoulder and said, "Remember, the world doesn't owe you anything. If you want to change it, do it." After his conversation with Trump, Alex went home and continued to think. He began to learn about non-traditional models of education, about how countries like Finland, Japan, and Canada had built their education systems without much intervention from the federal government. He read about online learning programs, homeschooling, and community-run schools. The more Alex learned, the more he realized that education didn't always need to be centrally controlled. In some places, schools were designing their own curricula based on the actual needs of their students. EdTech companies were also developing flexible learning platforms that allowed students to access knowledge in ways that suited them. However, not everyone had the same opportunities. Some poor states didn't have the budget to maintain quality school systems. Some families couldn't afford to educate their children, and the educational gap between the classes was widening. Alex saw both opportunity and challenge in this change. He decided to try something new. He gathered a group of classmates and proposed an idea: build a free learning platform for students who couldn't go to school. He contacted volunteer teachers, searched the internet for learning materials, and built a simple online learning system. But not everyone was on board. Some teachers objected, saying the model couldn't replace traditional learning. Some parents feared their children would be left behind. Alex knew this was just the beginning of a long journey. In the weeks that followed, Alex's project began to gain traction. Several nonprofit education organizations offered to partner. Schools in some poor states began testing his proposed online learning model, but not everyone was on board. The debate continued. Some people said that the new system only benefited a small group of students, while students without internet access or homeschooling conditions still struggled. Alex didn't stop, though. He started blogging, sharing his ideas for a more flexible education system. He participated in forums, organized small workshops, and was even invited to speak on a TV show. A year later, when Alex's online learning system was officially deployed widely, he received a letter from Trump. "Alex, you get the idea. The world doesn't wait for anyone. Those who act are the ones who change it. Congratulations." He smiled. It had been a long day, but a new journey had just begun. Thank you for watching this inspiring story. If you find it meaningful and want to spread this message to more people, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next meaningful stories. Click like if this content touches your heart, and comment below with your feelings. We would love to hear your thoughts. Please share this video to spread the message of empathy and compassion. See you in the next videos, where we will continue to explore inspiring and meaningful stories.